What do you think? Start with the Rose Bowl? Go
Yeah,
in chronological order of how the day went.
let's do it.
Alabama, Michigan. The Michigan Wolverines win in overtime, 27-20. I won't lie. Bama scored on McClellan's run. I think what was the second play of the fourth quarter. Michigan goes 3 and out, and it felt like Bama was in complete control of that game. Nick Saban was going to take another team to a title game. I mean, even Jalen Milroe, he fumbles, and Michigan misses the field goal and gets no points. And it's one of those, well, it's just Alabama's day, right?
Mm-hmm.
But credit to the Michigan Wolverines, man. Down 20-13, 4 minutes and 41 seconds to go in the game. Absolutely had to have it and got it done. A huge conversion on that 4th and 2. I completely agreed with that call, even though they had all their timeouts.
Mm-hmm.
Need a little luck. Ball gets tipped. Roman Wilson's still able to make a play on it. And then, for whatever reason, Bama leaves him wide open for that touchdown. The white punt returner almost gave us all a heart attack. I don't know what Jake Thaw was thinking at the goal line. That was, oh my goodness. But they were able to get it done in overtime with the run game. It it was not very much fun to watch early, but had a very entertaining ending. Ted, fun football game, man.
Yeah, it was just kind of the. I mean, it was just kind of a slow back and forth. It felt like, but it builds to a really good ending, and that was great. I'm with you. I thought Alabama was going to just kind of step away with it there in the second half whenever it looked like they grabbed control. And credit Michigan continued to answer and stay alive, got to the overtime. And, once they got to the overtime, just punched it straight in. And it was pretty shocking to me how they were able to punch it in. But, still credit them, blocking it up, good running game, got the touchdown. And then it's awesome when a defense like wins the game and you can storm the field as like the ball falls to the ground. It makes for a better field storming. It was awesome. The ending of that game was just really cool. The environment, the atmosphere, you really got the feeling that you were watching, the two of the best in college football, which is what you want. Oftentimes we go into these semifinals and we feel like it's going to be pretty lopsided going in, but, two huge brands in college football gave us a thriller overtime game. That was awesome.
A lot of people saying, oh, that felt like the national title game. Did they watch Michael Penix in that offense? We'll get to that, but I don't know about all that. The last play, it's there. There's multiple options that are there. And Jalen Milroe is going to be thinking about that last play for a long time. QB power, it looks like there's an option to flip it out to the running back if he sees it on that play, but it looked like they were just trying to run QB power from the 3 yard line. And that's a bit of a bold call for sure. But the hole is there. The problem is Alabama center can't snap the football, man. It's insane.
Yeah.
And I've watched quite a bit of them this season. He's had issues all year long. And I felt bad for Jalen Milroe. I have never seen a quarterback look so focused on the snap.
Never, he doesn't know where it's going to go. He's
No, and
like a second
normally,
baseman.
and that's I had a conversation. It was like my second day in the NFL. Charlie Whitehurst, I'll never forget it. He's the backup quarterback in Tennessee. I was likely, before I blew my knee out, was going to be the backup center that season, maybe. And he said, "Hey, Gabe, the snaps are a little hot. Slow them down." And he told me one more time. He said, "The snaps are a little hot. Slow them down. Slow them down, or you're not going to be snapping to me." And I said, "Okay." And it was, and he pulled me aside after practice and he said, "Hey, The reason is I got all this other stuff to worry about. The last thing I should have to worry about is a shotgun snap. Just put it in my chest. Decent speed, put it in my chest. It's not that hard. And I looked at him, I was like, you're right. It's not that hard. And the Alabama center was making me irrationally angry with his snapping. I'm watching it on the couch, fuming. Now, some people will say, don't you feel bad for the center? No. Snap the damn ball, man. It's literally the number one part of the job. Snap the ball, and then everything else takes place after that. He took points off the board, man.
Yeah. You feel bad if it's
adverse conditions, like it's pouring rain or something. I don't know.
Or it's like a non-conference game and the center's blocking an all-American nose guard and they're getting killed.
It's like an FCS center against
a
guy that's going to be a top 10 pick. You're like,
this is Alabama, Michigan. I think we're past that point. This is big boy football, and it's crazy to think that, that last play, because he's so worried about the snap and it's not a good one, like it takes him quickly out of the, am I throwing the bubble or the swing, or am I going to run the power? And as everything happens so fast out there, like whenever you reach or something for a ball, it feels like it took 15 seconds and all timing is gone on what you're doing. So I can understand the clock being a little messed up for Milroe on that final play, but yeah, that's going to be one where they look at it and are going to be frustrated because, he could have set up the run a little bit better, and let the blocking unfold a little bit for him instead of he ran it like it was from the half-yard line instead of from the 3 or 3.5, wherever it was. A little bit more patience, and he would have had options there. But again, like, it's hard to really criticize whenever the snap is off and his timing and his head's all blown to smithereens.
Yeah, that ball gets close to the ground right there, and whatever he was thinking went away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the center's fault. So I can only imagine how frustrated that guy is. Of course, like no one cares more than him. But man, that's tough to go into the locker room when you just cost your team. I'm not going to say you cost them the game, but that first drive out of the half and I thought Tommy Rees made some really good adjustments. They got to run in duo. They ran it. I don't know how many times they ran it. They ran it over 10 times in the second half, and Michigan just could not figure out how to fit it. They got to some QB run game. They gave Milroe some easier throws. Like, I really like the adjustments they made offensively, but in a game where it was just not some big shootout, there were not going to be a ton of points scored. They're kind of cooking on their first drive out of the half, and the center snaps them out of points. I mean,
yeah,
that's brutal, man. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah. And you hate it whenever it's like one person that everyone can point to and you're like, right there at you, they had other opportunities. I don't know how Alabama gives up the touchdown they gave up in overtime. It's hard for me to watch. I cannot watch that play.
You mean bare front, completely misfit power?
It's the easiest thing in football. Like at that level of football, you cannot be in a better call. You cannot be in an easier play to fit, and they screw it up and give up a touchdown in overtime. And Michigan had probably run it 20 times during the football game. It's not first play of the first drive, unique formation, unique motion. You're trying to adjust. Super simple. And they messed it up. It's just weird to me. Like that's the pinnacle of college football this year. Alabama, Michigan in the Rose Bowl in the semifinal. And it should be unstoppable force meets immovable object on that play. It should be a collision, no gain, next snap. It should just do that. But it's a touchdown, and then, obviously up on defense for Michigan, but still a great game. And that was awesome. The Oklahoma Georgia game, I know it was a different style of football game, but it's awesome to see an overtime in the semifinal.
No doubt. I thought JJ McCarthy was okay. He got so lucky on the first play. I mean, what was he thinking? Throws the interception right to him, and luckily the guy's heels out of bounds when he jumps to pick it off. But Michigan had a lot of mistakes, especially special teams.
I saw that exact play this year reviewed and not go Oklahoma's way on the review. Crazy.
I thought about that as well. Now, this one was pretty clear. It was clear that he was out. Yeah. But I thought the story of the game was Alabama's defense busting in key situations. You think about the first touchdown. That is a play you see over and over and over again. Corum is wide open, uncovered, out of the backfield on the first touchdown of the game. The 4th and 2. It was pretty much 4th in the game, or at least that's how it felt, where Michigan's going for it deep in their own territory. Blake Corum, uncovered, out of the backfield for a huge gain. And then the touchdown in overtime. You broke it down. Bear defense, a play that Michigan runs all the time. They run the power, and you completely misfit it. When the game was on the line, when these plays, these huge plays were happening, to me, it seemed like Bama just completely busted.
Yeah.
Which is un-Bama-like.
It's one thing whenever you're like, oh man, they got us on this one. That's a great call for what we were in, or
right.
It's something we hadn't seen in that moment. That's one thing, but when they do some stuff that's that simple and it turns into those big of like game-changing type of moments, that's what's frustrating.
There's no doubt. My only other thought on that game is, and give credit to Michigan's defense. They got some dudes now. There's no doubt about it. But Alabama's offensive line's inability to block empty protection is stunning.
I've had trouble all year.
If you know empty is a big part of the plan, which clearly it was a big part of the plan, especially in the first half, it's like they couldn't process it. It was wild to watch, man. I don't know how you're playing O-line for Bama. I know that they're well coached. I know that. So to watch them bust empty protection over and over and over again was, whew. I was not in a good place on the couch. I was mad at the center. I was mad at their outline. I was like, wait, why do I care if Bama struggles? That's where I went. Just remove the logos and what OU's future looks like and all that stuff. I just want to watch good offensive line play. Is that too much to ask?
Hey, when in doubt, just watch the football. When they snap it to the quarterback, watch him, and then watch where he throws.
How dare you? How dare you suggest I watch the football like a commoner? What's wrong with you? Watch the offensive line and defensive line, people. That's where the game is won. No, it did not have a great start, especially in that first half. Hit a bit of a lull in that second quarter, but the finish ended up delivering. That was fun.
It was, all in all, a really good football game, and we'll see. I mean, Michigan is...
I thought the better team won. I thought, as I was watching it, especially with the way that Alabama was struggling at points in time offensively, I thought, hey, Michigan, they don't have any game changers at the wide receiver spot, but they looked like the more physical, better prepared team.
Yeah.
And
I
they
think they're,
overcame all those mistakes on special teams. What in the world?
yeah, I think they're better prepared because I think Michigan probably has the most simple offense and defensive systems that you'll find. And it's easy to prepare that way whenever and they haven't been forced out of their comfort zone really by anyone all year. And you just kind of stay with what you do. And I mean, they were close to it against Alabama, but they were still able to stick with what they do and what they do well and win the football game.
Anything else on that game?
I think that's it. Other than Milroe's pregame attire, that was pretty funny. The length.
Oh, Reese Davis. Oh, that did you see the McAfee clip? That thing. Oh man.
So great.
Yeah.
So great.
Pretty good stuff. All right. Let's move to the Sugar Bowl. Washington wins 37-31. I've got a story for you, Ted.
Okay.
I was at a bar / restaurant and watching this game with a group of UW fans
Okay.
that we've met over here. And it was like, hey, come watch the game with us a few days ago. I was like, what else are we going to do? Yeah, let's go watch it. And Washington recovered that onside kick with 1 minute and 9 seconds to go in the game. And my wife was like, hey, let's drive home. It is not far. It's maybe a 5 minute, 6 minute drive back to the house out here. And we missed a lot.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And I got back and was caught up to speed and hit rewind and watched the chaos unfold. Dude, I could not believe how dramatic of an ending. I was congratulating all these Washington fans, like, hey, you guys going to Houston? They're all saying, yeah, we're going. I was like, that's awesome, man. I'm so jealous. I was wearing an OU football shirt. Of course I was. They brought me a Washington shirt, and I was like, get that thing away from me.
Not happening.
Oh, like, not happening, buddy. But what an unreal finish. I couldn't believe it. But ultimately, in my opinion, the better team definitely won the football game. And they were able to hold on. But my goodness, did the Huskies make it a dramatic ending. Wow.
Yeah, that if you went to sleep with 3 minutes left in that football game saying this one's over, and you would have woke up to see Texas throwing it in the end zone to win the game, you would have been shocked. How did we get here? And Washington I don't know if they got too concerned. I mean, you can get into all of that, but it was a great football game. Two really solid offenses, a bunch of great skill guys out there going to work. Sanders was great for Texas. Penix is he's so fun to watch, man. He's so fun. It's crazy. It still looks like he's throwing a different football than everyone else. The way he throws it is just so cool.
That first half, the way it was going back and forth with Penix just slinging it all over the place. That was fun. I thought Texas did a really nice job with their run game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure why they didn't lean on it more. But even Ewers did some nice things with his legs. But Washington gave him a gift with that muff punt that they capitalized on. It felt like Washington would do something, then Texas would answer. And it was fun. It was a really fun football game to watch. But ultimately, I thought the difference was Michael Penix. I thought he was the difference. And some of those throws that he had, pushing it down the field, the touchdown throw where he's just throwing a dart right in between the two safeties. I thought he was the reason they won the game. And man, that was fun to watch. Odunze, Polk, McMillan, all of them made big plays.
Oh my God, he's so good.
Odunze's so good. Is he the best? He seems like he's the best receiver in the country. Like he is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's incredible. And I think Penix throws the best deep ball I've seen maybe since Burrow
I
in
thought you were
college.
about to say maybe since Jason White.
It's just
It's
it is
beautiful.
it's beautiful and it is on the money every single time. Um, Let me ask you this: would that game, or how different would that game have been if Texas had Brooks?
I think they would have leaned on the run game. I think Texas would have had a different type of plan. And I'm a little confused as to why they didn't run it more. Maybe they felt once Washington got up to double digits, like you feel that pressure, like, hey, we got to make a play, we got to make a play. I think it would have been more beneficial for Texas to go into that game going, hey, we're going to ground and pound, we're going to shorten this thing. But that's not what they did. I'm not entirely sure why. And to their credit, they are throwing the ball multiple times in the end zone to win the game on the
I know.
in the last stretch of the game. So it's not like the plan was awful. But yeah, I do think it would have been different with Brooks. Would they have won? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not betting against Penix. My God.
Blue had the big. He dropped the deep ball
He had the
and then had
fumble.
that big fumble. Yeah.
The fumble was that was a what was that? Just outside the 20, like points off the board.
Yeah.
And they were down 34-21 when he fumbled that. I mean, that's critical. So, and that was, now that you mentioned it, CJ Baxter had the fumble. That led to a field goal for Washington. Blue had the fumble that took points off the board for him. The running back mistakes were maybe the difference in the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's an interesting thought. I guess if you're a Texas fan, you can always say if we had Jonathan Brooks, we would be playing for a national title. But
You had him good sus and still got your ass kicked.
ooh,
What'd you think of Ewers?
I thought he was okay.
You
I
know, to
I
me,
thought
it's
the
the same
throws
thing.
late were strange.
He is, if he has a clean pocket and he's got the coverage that he wants and he sees pre-snap, he's great. He throws a really nice ball, accurate ball, smooth. It's really catchable, looks great. If things are off and he's not just right on time and maybe he's got a post snap read or a disguise, like if anything's off, I think that's where he really starts to struggle. He gets inaccurate, he gets happy feet. But you can definitely see the talent there, but man, there's some times where it's like, where did that come from? Like
Right.
what happened on that throw? Yeah.
I I thought in both games, you look across both games, I thought it was glaringly obvious that Michael Penix is head and shoulders the best quarterback.
Totally agree.
And it wasn't only his ability to throw from a clean pocket. And Washington's offensive line did a really nice job protecting him. But even when Texas got a bit of a rush or got some pressure on him, his ability to move within the pocket, he's clearly the healthiest he's been in quite some time.
Yeah.
I mean, his ability to make guys miss and still deliver the ball down the field. I mean, he was the best player I saw, maybe other than Rome Odunze. He was awesome, man. And I thought those types of plays were the difference. And also they got to some QB run game with him. Stole a couple plays from the Sooners that they ran against Texas in the Cotton Bowl. And they had some good success with Penix with his legs in that second half, breaking off some big chunks. He was spectacular, man. That was a really, really fun football game that had a completely unnecessarily dramatic ending.
I
I
know
got a
it.
question for you.
Yeah.
It feels incredibly punitive. So, right, Dylan Johnson goes down hurt. Texas has no timeouts. It feels really punitive for an offense to be in that situation. The clock doesn't run.
Yeah.
Uh, you got to, at that point, if you're a Washington offensive lineman, you just got to throw them on your shoulder like a sack of potatoes, like you do with the toddler, and get them off the field and let the clock guess. I don't know. It seems like if the defense doesn't have timeouts in that situation, some time should go off the clock. I don't know. Or is it just, hey, don't get hurt? I don't know, but it feels awfully punitive to the offense. Because that's why there was so much time. That's why Texas had the time to go down the field and make those plays. I don't know. It was just strange to me.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. Now, what was the deal? They didn't have any timeouts, right? Washington didn't have any timeouts. So I don't know. It is. I'm just trying to think. That rule was put in for a reason.
I was trying to think of what the reason would be, because if you're a defense in that situation, it's third down, they're running it, you have no timeouts. It would go to what, down to like 20 seconds. If he doesn't get
Yeah.
hurt, you go, guys, I need you to go break someone's leg. I don't care who it is, go hurt somebody because we get
Right.
a timeout.
And it's like the same thing offensively. Like, what if you're down and you don't have any timeouts? Like, you could stop the clock for yourself.
It That's what happened, right? I'm not crazy, right?
Yeah.
So
I can't. It was at the time I thought it was like, what is happening right now?
maybe I
And
just missed something. Maybe if I did, people let me know. Usually if we mess something up, people let us know on Twitter. So just tell me I'm an idiot if I saw that
whatever
sequence.
it is, I feel like it's there. Like most of the other things, is you don't get the gamesmanship at the end of a game with someone faking injuries or something. I mean,
Right.
I I I don't know exactly what that scenario would be, but I have to go back and look at it again to know exactly what we're looking at. But yeah, it was weird. It was weird to say the least.
National championship game. Early gut instinct. What do you got?
Washington.
Same.
Now, I love the clash of styles. Um, looking at how Texas was having some success running the football, Michigan will not stop running the football.
No.
You know,
They will
so
run it 70 times.
that's right.
That
That's
has been
going to be the
proven.
test. And I thought at least on the interior of the defensive line, Washington's bigger and stronger than maybe I thought. Like they got some big dudes in there. Now they're
That
going to have to
Trice guy on the edge had himself a day.
yeah, they're going to have to fit things better, and it's going to be easier against Michigan because things are a little more straightforward, and you're not so enamored by all the skill talent on the outside. But I think it's going to be a great game. I love the clashing styles. I think Washington by far has the better quarterback on the field, the more explosive offense, but Michigan's got the meat and potatoes over Washington by quite a margin as well. So it should make for a fun game.
At some point, the football gods must punish Michigan. That is still in the back of my mind. At some point, it has to happen. I just, I like Washington. It's simple, man. Michael Penix and those wide receivers.
I
That's
know it. Know it.
it. May be the shortest national title game ever. Michigan may run it 60 times for 300 something yards, but I don't know. I'm not going against Penix. Certainly not if I'm, what is it, 4.5, 5 point spread, I think.
Yeah.
I'm taking those points with the Huskies. Anything
Right.
else
No,
with what we
no.
watched? All right, let's finish up.
Great semifinal weekend though. That's one of the best we've had.
Oh,
Maybe the best.
there's no doubt about that.